This is GMT's Barbarossa Army Group South, and this is the situation after game turn one. Just a little recap here. The Germans on game turn one, they railed up the recon of 16th Panzer, which starts on the border, or which starts on the board edge. They railed up just the recon up here along with some supply. They railed up 4 MSU trucks, 2 here, 1 here, and 1 down by Paramichel. Or, yeah, wait, no, 1 here, none by Paramichel, right. Okay. They did the basic, there's basically 14 attacks that you do along the frontier. They're pretty much the same 14 attacks. You may adjust the odds depending, but basically there's 14 attacks. And so that was done. What's interesting is one of the things that the Germans or the Soviets can realize after the German turn is what the Germans can overrun in their next movement phase. Because to overrun something, you have to start the movement phase stacked together. You can't move units, German units together in the movement phase and then overrun something. And only motorized units can overrun. So for what we see here, the only stack that's bigger than 9, well, there is a 15 here, I think. Well, let's look here. What do we got here? 8. Yeah, there's 15 in here, but they're sort of boxed in. They can overrun here, but he may very well, I don't know. Anyway, but this 11th Panzer is the only big motorized stack that is still left together. And it is very concerning to the Russian player. It is in here in the weak spot of the Soviet line. And it's a little iffy. This is the hardest turn for the Soviet player, I think, turn 1 of this game. Because turn 2, the Germans get 2 full movement phases for their armor or their motorized units. They get to move full in the motorized in the movement phase, and then they get a full movement in the motorized phase. So they can pick their spot and just go. So it's a little concerning right here. Now I'm playing the Soviet player. And it was a horrific turn for the Soviets. The Germans took 2 step losses in these 14 attacks. The Soviets took, they took 13 step losses. They then, at the end of the turn, had a division surrender. So that's another 2 steps lost. So that makes 15. And then one of the things the Soviets have to do is they have to make 3 mandated attacks. Now, you don't have to make a mandated attack until you've lost a victory point. When you lose a victory point, then in that turn, the Soviets must make a mandated attack. So you can make your mandated attacks, though, so that you reduce the amount. The Soviets start with 3 mandated attacks. So I thought, well, it's nice, we'll make a mandated attack. The only real place we could have done it was out of Paramichel. There's 5 attack factors in Paramichel. Now you want to keep Paramichel. That's an important kind of a spot because the German rail line goes through there. That's the quickest rail line. The shortest rail line, I mean. So you want to keep it. Well, I figured I'll get a retreat and I'll just move back in. Well, the CRT generally is good if you roll low. So it started out as a 1-2 attack, but then the Germans added their artillery, which made it 1-1. Well, this is the area I wanted, was in this area. I just would get a retreat and then I would move back. Maybe I would lose a step. Well, it was a +3, 2 because it wasn't supplied, and 1 because I'm attacking over a river. I rolled a 1, which makes it a 4, which is the worst roll possible. It's a 1 asterisk. The Germans just retreated, which is cool. It doesn't matter. I, on the other hand, lost a step. I lost another. This asterisk means I lost another step because it was unsupplied attack. It also means I lost another step because it was a mandated attack. So I lost 3 steps in that attack, which is all I had in Paramishal, defending Paramishal. So Paramishal turned out to be vacant after my turn. So I had to move someone in there during the movement phase, because you attack after the motorized movement phase. The Soviets do anyway. Excuse me. So I had to use units I would normally have used to defend in this area. I had to stick him in along with the artillery unit just to keep him from walking in and taking it. So this has started out horrible in this area for the Soviets. Now here, and this is starting turn 2, so these units can now move for the Soviets in turn 2, and some of these down here now get to move that didn't get to move on the first turn. Now here, the Germans, I think, made a bit of a mistake in that they didn't come through this hole. Now, they did have a problem here in that this is one attack that failed. This UR that they attacked, it got a retreat result. So he was up here and was able to retreat. Well, he retreated 2 hexes to here, and then in the movement phase, I moved him back. But it kept them, or excuse me, I moved him here in the retreat, right there, which meant that the Germans couldn't really move through here as well as they had liked because of my zone of control. But in the opening movement, the German player did not bring units around here to cut off these guys in the motorized phase. He came this way, and that's going to hurt him because I was able to move back my units here and form a defensive line, keeping Covell safe for now and keeping him from being able to go around here. I've got him zocked here so he can't come around this road and come in from behind. I've got a zock here, so the terrain is not very good for him to swing around this way. And putting that unit there has really helped. These will be a little speed bumps, but this is the area that I'm very concerned about. I have a feeling, just knowing who I'm playing against, he usually always goes for lob. He wants to take it before on game turn 4 to get the victory points. So he's committed 2 panzers and a motorized division. 3 of his motorized formations are here in the lob area. So that's a lot. It's well, in my opinion, not good play, but he's he's obviously kicking my ass so far. But it's turn 1, so anyway, that's a little recap. Did have one Soviet division surrender, and in the back here, let's see if I can do this without really screwing this up too much. I did just move some Soviet units forward here in the back. In this area, these units all just kind of crept forward. They get very limited movement on turn 1. They don't get road movement rate. They have to pay. To move over a river, so it costs them 2 to move a river. You can't even move over a major river. It takes all your movement points on turn 1. So, and then of course map F, you don't move at all. None of those units can move at all on map F. So, anyway, that's a little recap of game turn 1, and we'll see what happens on game turn 2. Thanks.